The people are very, very different, and the accent is different. In Maine, you have this weird mix of a Canadian and a Boston accent in Maine, but if you go to Canada, you got a straight Canadian accent. It's great. Obviously, the people in the industry is very different. In Maine, you have a lot of truckers, a lot of farming, versus in Nova Scotia, where I was particularly, it was very city-based. There was a lot of lawyers, businessmen, things like that. There's not a lot of diversity in either place. You have a lot of white people from Canada that are there. I know in some missions in Canada, like Toronto, it's very diverse. People teach people from all over the world, but that is not the case in my mission. People think that just because Halifax is a big city that there's a big diverse place. But it's really not. There's a few people from Japan and China, but that's pretty much it. There's a lot more young single adults in my area that I was in Halifax, because of universities that are there. There's not, well, there are universities in Maine, but not very highly, not a lot of people attend them. But the universities in Halifax were a lot bigger, and so there's a lot more young single adults there. The currency is obviously very different. It's more expensive to live in Canada. Maine was very cheap. I was very spoiled, as that was my first area that I had plenty of money in my mission fund. I had plenty of money. And then I go to Canada and everything's double as expensive, and you just cross a border and somehow something changes. I don't know. But it was very expensive, and then the Canadian dollar is worth more than the American dollar, so there was that whole thing. But yeah, it was very expensive to live in Canada.